There's a family photo hanging in Peppa Pig's house that, by every rule of time and space, should not exist. It's on the wall before the person in it was even born. Nobody in the show has ever mentioned it. And once you spot it, you'll never look at that little house on the hill the same way again. You've watched Peppa Pig snort and giggle 100 times, maybe more if you've got a toddler who treats the remote like a hostage negotiation. But behind all that cheerful mud jumping, the house itself is stuffed with weird little details the show never bothered to explain. Doors that move, rooms that shapeshift, a family that seems to bend the laws of physics for fun. So let's walk through that tiny house on the hill and count the 20 strangest things hiding inside it, saving the creepiest one for last, because trust me, it's worth the wait. Start with the front door. You think you know this house. You've seen the Pig family stroll in from the left side 1,000 times, hang up their coats, and get on with their day. Simple. Except in one episode, Mummy and Daddy Pig come strolling in through a door on the right side of the house, a door that leads straight into the living room, somehow appearing right behind the television. And in every other episode, that door is gone. Just a flat wall, like it was never there. So either the pigs have a secret entrance they only use when the animators are feeling adventurous, or that house is quietly rearranging itself when nobody's watching. And speaking of things rearranging themselves, let's talk about the staircase door. In the episode where the power goes out, Daddy Pig heads down to the basement to grab a torch. Fair enough. Every house needs a basement full of junk and one flashlight with dying batteries. But here's the thing. That same door under the stairs? In other episodes, it doesn't lead to a basement at all. It leads to a storage room. Same door, same spot, totally different room behind it. Which raises a genuinely unsettling question. How many rooms does that door actually open into? And does Daddy Pig even know which one he's going to get? Now, that family photo I promised you at the start. In the episode where baby Alexander's cousin, little Eve, comes home for the very first time, the Pig family gathers by the staircase, all excited, about to open the door. And if you glance at the wall behind them, there's a framed photo, a nice family portrait, with the new baby already in it. Except this is supposed to be the baby's first day home. Before this moment, she was in the hospital. She has not existed in this house for even a single second. So who printed that photo? Who framed it? Who hung it up before the kid arrived? Either the pigs have access to time travel, or somebody on that animation team really likes messing with us. Keep that thought parked because it connects to something bigger later. Here's one you feel more than you notice. That house is tiny, genuinely tiny from the outside. A little box on a little hill with a triangle roof, the kind of house a 5-year-old draws. And yet inside, it fits a full kitchen, a living room, multiple bedrooms, a bathroom, a staircase, a basement, a storage room, and apparently a phantom side door. The inside of Peppa's house is bigger than the outside. That's not a house, that's a magic trick. And no adult in the show has ever once looked at it and gone, hang on, this doesn't add up. Then there's the fireplace. The Pig family has a lovely fireplace in the living room, complete with a mantle and photos on top. But have you ever actually seen it lit? Even in the snowy episodes, even when the power's out and it's freezing, that fireplace just sits there, cold and decorative, like a prop nobody remembered to plug in. Maybe it's just for show. Or maybe there's a reason the pigs never light a fire in a house made of very flammable-looking cartoon lines. Let's go up to the bedrooms, because Peppa and George's rooms have a problem too. Watch closely and you'll notice the furniture likes to wander. A toy box that's on one wall in one episode ends up across the room in another. A window that's beside the bed shows up on the opposite side later. Now you could say kids move their stuff around, that's normal. But these are toddlers who can barely reach the light switch. Somebody is redecorating this house constantly, and it isn't the children. Now step back outside for a second, because it feeds into the next mystery. Peppa's house always, and I mean always, sits at the top of a steep green hill, standing completely alone. No neighbors right beside it, no street, just one house on one hill. But Peppa's friends all live nearby, walk to school together, pop over to play. So where are all these hills in relation to each other? Is every family in this town living on their own private mountain, waving at each other across the valleys? The geography of this place makes absolutely no sense, and the show has never even tried to explain it. Which brings us to the flood. In the episode about the biggest muddy puddle in the world, the entire town gets swallowed by water. The playground, the roads, everything drowning. And yet not a single house takes any damage, because, of course, they're all perched safely on their hills. Clever, right? Except 2 of Peppa's friends don't live on hills. Rebecca Rabbit and Molly Mole live underground. Their whole homes are tunnels beneath the surface. So if the town floods, their houses should be the first to fill up like a bathtub. But nobody panics. Nobody mentions it. The rabbits and moles just carry on, bone dry, in their underground burrows during a town-wide flood. Either they've got waterproofing technology the pigs can only dream of, or something very strange is going on beneath that soil. Back inside, let's talk about the telephone. The pigs have a landline, a proper old-fashioned phone that rings, and it's almost always Granny and Grandpa Pig on the other end. But watch where that phone lives. Sometimes it's mounted on the kitchen wall, sometimes it's sitting on a table in the hall. The phone moves around the house like it's got legs. And in a show where technology already feels a little too advanced for a family of pigs, a wandering telephone is exactly the kind of detail that makes you squint. Here's a fun one hiding in the kitchen. Grandma Pig cooks. Constantly. She bakes cakes, grows vegetables, makes jam, feeds the whole extended family. That woman never stops. But have you ever noticed we've seen the birthdays of nearly everyone in that family? Peppa, George, Mummy Pig, Daddy Pig, even Grandpa Pig got a fancy restaurant celebration, and yet Grandma Pig has never once had a birthday episode? The one person who bakes everyone else's cake has never had a cake of her own on screen. So either Grandma Pig doesn't age, which honestly tracks, or the show is hiding her birthday for reasons only the writers know. While we're on the family, look at the photos on the walls and the mantle. The pig house is covered in framed pictures, and most of them show the family posing in front of, wait for it, their own house on the hill. They took photos of themselves standing outside the exact house those photos are hanging inside. It's a house full of pictures of the house, which is either deeply wholesome or the beginning of an infinite loop that no cartoon pig should be able to survive. Now here's something about the whole world that the house is part of, and it's genuinely eerie once you see it. Where are all the other grown-ups? Look around Peppa's world, and it's nothing but parents and small children. There are no teenagers, no young adults living alone, no single neighbors, no college students, no awkward cousins in their 20s. Almost every single kid is the same age as Peppa or George. The town is families and only families, frozen at exactly the same stage of life. It's like nobody in this world is allowed to grow up past the age of 6, and nobody's allowed to be an adult without already having 2 children. Sit with that one for a while, and that same weirdness bleeds right into Susie Sheep's family. Peppa's best friend Susie. We've met her mom, occasionally her grandma, a cousin here and there. But have you ever seen a man in Susie Sheep's family? A dad? A grandpa? A brother? Anyone? Nope, not once. Every one of Peppa's other friends gets their whole family paraded through the show at some point. But Susie's male relatives are simply absent, vanished, never mentioned, never explained, never missed. And nobody in the show finds this the least bit strange. Let's get into the eyes, because this one's a classic. Every character in Peppa Pig who talks and drives and goes to school, Peppa, George, Miss Rabbit, all of them, you always see both of their eyes, even when they're standing in full side profile, which is impossible. When you look at someone from the side, you see one eye. But the regular animals on the show, the actual chickens and parrots that just cluck and squawk, they only show one eye from the side, like a normal creature would. So fans came up with the only logical explanation. Peppa and her friends must have 4 eyes, 2 on each side of their heads. Nobody's confirmed it, nobody's denied it, and now you'll be checking every time. Staying with the makes no sense file, there's the height problem. Every animal in Peppa's world is roughly the same size. Pigs, sheep, dogs, cats, rabbits, all standing at pretty much toddler height. Then along comes Gerald Giraffe, a new kid at playgroup, and he's enormous, towering over everyone. When the others ask why he's so tall, Gerald just says,
"I'm tall because I'm a giraffe."
Great answer, Gerald. Very helpful. But if being a giraffe makes you tall, then why are Edmund and Emily Elephant tiny? Elephants are supposed to be huge. And why is Peppa, a pig, exactly the same height as Rebecca, a rabbit? The rules only seem to apply to one very tall child, and then quietly stop existing for everyone else. Now the busiest resident in the whole town, and she's tied to the house too, because she's delivered to it, fixed it, sold to it, and probably rescued it. Miss Rabbit. This rabbit works everywhere: the supermarket, the ice cream van, the helicopter, the recycling center, the biscuit factory, and yes, at one point, literally the moon. Wherever the pig family goes, Miss Rabbit is already there, running the place. She's so relentlessly employed that the queen herself gave her a medal for hard work. But think about that. Nobody works that many jobs unless the whole town depends on it. What if Miss Rabbit isn't just busy? What if she's the one person quietly holding Peppa's entire world together, and that medal is the closest anyone's come to admitting it? Here's a detail buried in the writing itself. Aunt Dottie, Mummy Pig's long-lost sister, showed up as a big deal in a recent Thanksgiving episode, treated like a brand new character, except she wasn't new at all. Aunt Dottie was first mentioned way back in 2011 in an episode where Peppa and George get a toy horse as a gift from her. The writers dropped her name over 13 years before they ever brought her to life. Which makes you wonder how many other names have been quietly planted in that house, in throwaway lines, just waiting for the right moment to walk through the door. Maybe that impossible baby photo wasn't a mistake either. Maybe it was a plant. Speaking of relatives who don't show up, look at cousin Chloe's family. Peppa and Chloe are supposed to be close. But Chloe's family, Uncle Pig, and the rest have somehow never appeared at a single one of the big family birthday parties. Not Peppa's, not George's, not Grandpa's fancy restaurant do. They're always mysteriously elsewhere when the cake comes out. Do they live too far away? Were they just not invited? Or is there some quiet family drama the show is far too polite to ever mention? Then there's Daddy Pig's job, which is somehow both stated and completely mysterious. He works in construction. Specifically, he's an expert in concrete. He'll tell you so proudly at length given the chance. But we almost never actually see him at work, and whatever that job pays, it's apparently enough to fund constant road trips, holidays, new cars, and an endlessly renovating house. For a pig who spends most episodes napping in his armchair or falling into muddy puddles, Daddy Pig is running a suspiciously comfortable operation. How? The show's never said. And Mummy Pig's got her own version of this. She works from home on a computer, and whenever we see that computer, she's usually just typing away at something we never actually get to read. What's the job? What's on the screen? What is Mummy Pig writing all day while Daddy Pig snores? For all we know, she's the one running the town's finances, or she's writing the very episodes we're watching. We're never told. The screen's always turned just far enough away. Which leaves the two things about that little house that quietly break your brain the most. First, the car. The Pig family has one small red car, 2 doors, tiny, and yet the whole family piles in. Mummy, Daddy, Peppa, George, sometimes Grandpa and Grandma too, all fitting comfortably into a vehicle that should hold 4 people at an absolute squeeze. That car has the same magic as the house. Smaller on the outside, roomier than it has any right to be on the inside. Nobody questions it. Everybody just climbs in and goes. And finally, the thing I promised you at the very start. That family photo of little Eve hanging on the wall before she'd ever set foot in the house. Because once you know the writers planted Aunt Dottie's name over a decade before using her, that photo stops feeling like a simple animation slip-up. It starts feeling deliberate. A picture of a family member who hasn't arrived yet, hanging in a house that changes its own doors, rearranges its own rooms, and fits impossibly more inside itself than its walls should allow. Whatever's going on in that little house on the hill, it clearly knows things before they happen, and it's not telling us how. So that's 20 of them, and honestly, I don't think we've found the bottom of it yet. That house has more secrets than the show will ever admit to. So here's what I actually want to know. Which one of these got under your skin the most? The impossible photo, the 4 eyes, or the door that keeps disappearing? Drop it in the comments, and if you've spotted a hidden detail I somehow missed, tell me, because I'm now fully convinced that house is alive.